Okay, testing, testing. Hi, it is I. I tried to record an update yesterday. I came down with a cold yesterday. I lost my voice, and 3 hours in the rain, and then a cold overnight boat ride, and miscellaneous things. Fortunately, there's a pharmacy near here, and I've gotten to be really, really good friends with a pharmacist there. They've been really helpful. So thanks for my throat, and I had an ear issue. So I made a recording yesterday, and it turns out the microphone wasn't working. So I made a second recording that was longer. And when I looked at it, I thought, I must be much more tired than I thought I was because it was like 20 minutes long. And so here I am doing a brief one. I'm in Iquitos. So I had an awesome time in Pacaya Samiria. It's the second largest reserve in Peru. The place I'm going this week, I think, is on the edge of the largest one in Peru. When I got there, the people were waiting for me, met me off the boat, actually met me on the boat, took me to the office, and Marita had offered to let me stay there for free. And next door was her sister, had a restaurant, so they took me over there. We had dinner, I reorganized my pack, stored everything, and the next morning got up early and ready to go. But it was raining. The night before, it rained so hard that the water was over the side of the street in places. So we went to the put in a. They have a three-wheel here that's almost like their version of a farm or equipment truck. So it's a three-wheeler. It's all open. It's got a big bed on the back, and that's what we loaded all of our gear in to put in the canoe. And as we were getting ready to go, it started raining again. So the way the trip worked, we got to the put in, it rained, we waited about an hour, took off in the canoe, loaded it up, took off, and about an hour and a half later, it stopped raining. And we paddled 5 hours that first day, and got to the camp called Gloria. And then we went from there to the second camp. It was a little bit crowded, so we had lunch, and then we moved on a couple more hours to another spot, and then came back to that camp we were in initially and came back to Gloria. The last day out, we had about 6 hours of Achilles, my guide, paddling against the current, and the last hour and a half, no, last 2.5, 3 hours was in the rain. So my voice is coming back. I've been resting and taking medicine, and just in a good place here with it. Awesome trip. Saw the river wolves, the Lobo de Rio. It's an endangered species of river otter. Two different species of dolphin. Did see an anaconda, tons of monkeys, birds, what have you. So what's going to happen Tuesday, the day after tomorrow? I'm in Iquitos. I've really enjoyed being here. I kind of accidentally scheduled extra time because the information on the boats is so confusing and unreliable. But I had to be here for a definite day, so in order to make sure I made that, I booked that ahead of time. And for me, it turned out to be really great because we left I got up at 5 a.m., got breakfast and started paddling and got into the rain, and we got to the end at 2 p.m., and then the road was flooded from there to get back to the village of Lagunas. So deep in one area, it actually killed the motor on the motorcycle truck, and they jumped off immediately to push it out of the water, so it wouldn't damage the engine. And then from that point on, there were two more low spots where they turned off their bikes, and everybody from the other bikes came and helped whoever was going across, pushed it across next. So long story made short, I got there, changed my clothes, everything was wet, had a dipper shower. That'd be a 55-gallon bucket of water with a dipper. That's what your shower is. Had a bite to eat, and then at 7:30 I went down to the port. And when I went down to the port, my guide was down there, Marita was down there, her partner was down there. They wanted to make sure that I got on the right boat and got where I was going. So overnight, we left about 8 o'clock and got into Nauta at 6 a.m. and then had to change to a tuk-tuk taxi, change to a Colectivo taxi, 2 more hours to get to Iquitos. So by the time I got here, I got up at 5 a.m. the day before, got here at 8 a.m. in the morning, and got to the hostel, and they're like, you can't check in until 1 o'clock. I'm like, oh, okay, it's travel. So I put everything into their storage room. They locked it up, and I went out walking and had breakfast. Found a great little coffee shop. So I've had days here to get my laundry done. I didn't realize it was Easter weekend. And so they told me my first morning once I got checked into the room. I got in early. I got in at 12 instead of 1. And John at the counter said, I asked him about the laundry, and 'cause everything's wet, and they do your laundry by weight. And so I said, is there any? He's like, no, it's nothing. It's just going to weigh what it weighs. So, but he did say because of Easter weekend, if we don't get it in by 1 o'clock, you won't be able to get it back until Monday or Tuesday. So I unpacked everything, put it in a plastic bag, took it down, and had it back yesterday. I think it was here by 1 o'clock, and I saw the bag sitting on the counter, but they kept telling me, nope, no laundry, nope, no laundry, nope, no laundry. And about 8 o'clock, I went back and I said, we'll have it by 8 o'clock tonight. And I went back, and he said, no, we have no laundry. Then he looked at the bag that's been sitting there and goes, are you Larry Lawrence? I'm like, yeah. I go, well, here's your laundry. So I have clean laundry. I've had a really nice time relaxing here. It's really hot and muggy, so I was out at 6:15 this morning, heading to the local market. And then I went on down the street. There's a bistro that one of the people associated with the Amazon Expeditions recommended. And I was the only customer there, probably at 7 a.m. And a cup of coffee and a croissant. I was like so impressed that I had a crispy, warm croissant in this humid, muggy weather, which was really shocking. So the plan now, I'm reorganizing. You know, my pack has got so many miscellaneous things, and I use stuff sacks to keep it organized. And because of reorganizing for the trip, reorganizing after the rain, reorganizing for travel, taking everything out for laundry, everything's just kind of discombobulated. So I have today and tomorrow to organize that, and then Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock I get picked up here and take out into the jungle for my next 8-day adventure. So I posted one earlier blog, a link I think to the ARC Research Center, and then to Towayo Lodge. That's where I'll be going. I'll be at Towayo Lodge on Tuesday. I'll be there for a couple nights, and then I'm going to the ARC Research Center, which is more remote, and it's on land. So where I was in Pacaya Samiria, everything's flooded. So we didn't see any mammals. Where I'm going next is a research center, and everything is plotted out on grids so the scientists can communicate the movement and habitat, what they're observing. So when I get there, it'd be interesting to see what they're seeing and what they're recommending. I did go down to the port this morning. So there's no definitive information, and I mean, every time tourists come here, they're asking about the boat schedules. So there's 1,000 answers out there, and I got a definitive answer from somebody who goes, go to Puerto Henry. That's where the boats go. So I asked at the front desk this morning, and here I've gotten 2 or 3 different answers. So to ask a different person this morning, he goes, no, Puerto Henry goes a different direction. I'm like, oh, okay, what do I do? And he goes, go to Puerto Masusa. Okay, so I went out. It was a tuk-tuk driver. Charged me $1.50 to take me about 20 minutes down the road. And when I got to Puerto Masusa, as soon as the tuk-tuk stopped, some men came over wanting to know if I was looking for a boat. So the first thing I told him in Spanish was like, for the next week, I'm going to be gone for the próxima semana for Leticia. And he goes, like, sí. And so I told him that I was going to be going on miércoles or jueves, which is Wednesday, Thursday. And then he stopped and thought for a moment. He started pointing to which company has a boat that goes to the place I'm going on which day of the week. And he told me that on Thursday, there's a boat, Charlie, leaving at 7 p.m. So it's the first time I got a definitive answer. But 2 things will happen. That won't be recorded and available to anyone. So everybody that comes in is going to go through the same process I did. And the second thing is the schedule's always changing. So when I come back, it may not be Charlie on Thursday. It might be Frankie on Wednesday. So, you know, at least I figured that part out. So I am going to post some pictures. I got some really interesting photos, some fun stuff when I was out there. So I'm not going to be doing a lot of writing, but I wanted to do a blog entry. So I'm going to take this video, and hopefully everything is working, the sound and everything. and I'll post it up on my travel blog. So it's amazing. I've been gone for 2 weeks tomorrow. Seems like months. And then next week I come back. I have 2 days here. Then I get on the boat. I'm going to take 3 days or 4 days, depending upon how it works out, to get to Leticia. And it's a bit tricky because there's an electronic travel document that you have to fill out before you get to Colombia, but you can only do it within 72 hours of arrival. And I'm going to be on a boat, and there's no Wi-Fi or no cellular. So I'll get to figure those things out when I get back. So hopefully, I think when I'm in Tawayo Lodge, they do have some sort of Wi-Fi. I know there's a place I looked at yesterday as a possible place to stay when I come back, but they were full. And they made a point of letting me know they have Starlink, so there's nothing faster than Starlink. So that's my update. Awesome time, amazing new people, wonderful conversations every day. Today it was a man from Catalan area of Spain, and a young woman from Italy, a man from France, people from London. And I met a man at the grocery store yesterday. I was checking out and I was leaving, and I said something to the lady, and then I heard this man said, "It sounds like an American accent." So I got to meet Chris, and Chris is here on a spiritual journey, and we spent like 20-25 minutes just soul to soul sharing. It's like, well, what do you hear? What's your catalyst? And he started sharing with me what's going on in his life, why he's here, what he's been learning. And so those kind of conversations are coming up here every single day, which is just food for my soul. So awesome time. I'm feeling healthy, taking care of myself, resting up. So ciao. I have my voice back. Ciao. I'll talk to you later, and I'll send some pictures out with this. Bye.